Okay, so how's it going, guys? Today we are going to I'm basically gonna like show you guys how to set up Vast.ai machines. Now, this is something that I know a lot of people like want to get into, but don't know how to do it. And so, like, Vast is kind of a little complicated for your average person. Like, a lot of people that GPU mine want to do this thing, and it's hard for them to get into it because there's so many aspects you need to know when you try to get into Vast. So, I'm going to kind of like walk you guys through. There's some other things I'll talk about at the end that you need to do in your BIOS settings. Sometimes there's a lot of factors here. But if you have an extra PC, maybe you don't pay for power, or maybe you have low power costs. This is something you will want to get into, or at least to try to make some extra dollars, some extra money. Now, if you have a very powerful PC or you're looking to invest um, into Vast AI, the company I work for is gonna do like we're gonna host these machines for clients and stuff like that. So if that's something you guys are interested in, please get back to me. Please just shoot me a message or something. But anyway, so yeah, so Vast is just like it's this basic like thing where people can basically rent not just GPUs, but the computer itself. Now, I don't know everything there is about a VAST machine. Like, I don't know how exactly clients, like exactly what they do and the whole process they do. But I know, like, from like checking things on the computer when it's like running a client, you can kind of see what they're doing. Like our 4090 machine, usually people are running like it's kind of weird, but people are running like Java and doing something with Java. So like I said, I don't know exactly what they do on your computer and all that. I know they're not like hacking the fucking mainframe here; they're just renting it. Um, right now, prices have gone down quite a bit for most GPUs. As you can see, 3090s are only 18 cents an hour. I feel like that's really low compared to what it was. But if you are looking to invest in 50 series, or you have a 4090 machine, sorry, or if you have an old GPU just laying around, or a couple of them, like a 3070s and stuff like that, it's a good way to make a few dollars if you really don't pay for power or something like that. So yeah, so I want to get into this more. So VAST is this fantastic thing on Linux. It's really just it really helps the AI market um, in general. And this is a great way to make a few extra dollars if you have a low end PSC laying around or something. So yeah, there's a couple things I want to go over because VAST is a little complicated when it comes to setup, and people always like try to get into this and then they have no idea what they're doing and they start. I see it in the Vast AI Discord. I used to see it a lot. I don't really see it too much anymore. I feel like people have given up. And I don't feel like there's enough videos talking about how to set these machines up. Now, I'm not going to do a full walkthrough here. Maybe, like, if you guys want something like that later on, I could do that. I'm just going to show you what exactly you need and stuff like that. So if you come to hosting, um, and then you hit start hosting here, this is a great AI picture, by the way. Um, so here's what you're going to see. So let me log out real quick. I don't want to show, too much here. So if you come to hosting here and you say start hosting, so if you come to NVIDIA, if you do an AMD, I have no idea how to do this. I really don't. I'm guessing it's the same, just slightly different. But I mean, I could probably set it up myself. But here we go. So yes, so the way on VAST, there's like two different things, right? There's unverified and there's verified. You will start unverified. If you get verified, it's basically saying, hey, my machine's really reliable, it works really well, and my machine is going to cost a little more because I'm verified, because I have a good machine. So, first things first, most systems that you build for this are going to need, I usually like to make sure that we have double the requirements. So right here, this says at least one physical core or two threads per GPU, right? So I like to go double on that and make sure that you have two physical cores and four threads per GPU. Now you don't have to, but I would definitely recommend you do that. And then, yes, you have to have a CPU that supports AVX. I don't think they haven't done that since like before Ryzen first gen, I think. At least 4 gigs of system RAM per GPU. Now, this is not correct unless you have lower end GPUs. In my take, I would at least have 1 gig of RAM per gig of VRAM per GPU. So if your GPU is a RTX 3070, they have 8 gigs of VRAM. You want to have 8 gigs of RAM for that GPU. And then usually what I do is, because unless you're running like something like 5090s or 4090s, I usually will double the amount of RAM because it's better to have more RAM than not. Now, of course, this changes with DDR5 and having too much RAM. So there's some things there that like cross the line. But in my perspective, I would rather have, you know 96 gigs of RAM than 64 or something like that. I would just rather have that if you have the budget or whatever. 100%. So yeah, so we'll move on here. At least 128 gigs of fast storage per GPU. Now, in my perspective, usually you can buy, if you're going with higher end GPUs, I would go with higher end storage. Not so much like 5.0 PCIe fucking gigafast NVMe drives, but you can do a 3 terabyte NVMe, if you have 4 or 5 cards on a machine, or even 6. I would go with a 4 terabyte, 3 terabyte. Like lower end machines, like we have a machine that's 4 3070. Well, it has 5 on there, 5 3070s. I run that with 2 terabyte NVMe. You know what I mean? You don't really need. That's maybe even a little overkill, to be honest. So anyway, you at least need 1 times PCIe for blah blah blah, for 2 times teraflops, whatever. Um, in my experience, it's better on Vast. This isn't GPU mining, and people do sometimes GPU mine with your shit on Vast, very seldom. But this is something to keep in mind. Do not put your stuff in 1x. Please, for the love of God, this is not GPU mining. These people are really using, 90% of the time, people are really using these machines for actual programming, for actual coding, for actual AI development. They're using these machines 9 times out. Even I've seen actually image upscaling is what I've seen, which is really cool. So please don't put your GPUs in 1x if you can avoid it at any rate. At least put them in something like I think our machines are on 3.0 8x or 4.0 8x. You know, if you can do 16 times, like if it's on directly on the board, do 16 100%. But a lot of times we have to riser the cards out. So yeah, all GPUs in the machine must be the same type. This is something to keep in mind. You can't mix and match like you did with GPU mining. It's not that simple. And an open port range mapped to each machine. So I just want to review right here. Let's go back and review. Like in the comment section here for the NVIDIA, it says the ideal machine will exceed these minimum guidelines as some workloads require even more CPU, RAM, disk, and PCIe performance. Also, keep in mind that everything scales with GPU power, so a 3090 will need more RAM, a better CPU, etc., than a 3060. So that's exactly what I said. Everything scales. So if you have higher end stuff, you need higher end RAM. You need higher end, not so much higher end RAM, but more RAM. You need more better CPU, stuff like that. And so this isn't something that's like get rich quick scheme, like kind of like mining was. GPU mining, was crazy for a little bit. So it's not that simple. So Next, I want to kind of go over. So that's like the basic stuff. That's what everybody's going to look at when they first get into this. And this is where people make the mistakes of, oh, this seems pretty simple. All I have to do is install Linux. So they start going through this install page, and it's not that Vast has done a bad job at this. It's just that they haven't kind of like they haven't really refined this, to be honest with you. When I first started and tried to do this, I realized that I had no idea what I was doing because I'm not a pro at Linux by any means. I barely know Linux as it is. So I was like really confused. I was just a GPU miner, just like probably everybody else is going to watch this video. So do not follow this page. This page is not what you want to follow. This is, unfortunately, this has some good information, but it's just unfortunately not there. There is some stuff that's very, very good on here that I'll come back to. So here's what you're going to want to do. First of all, you do want Linux 2204, not 2404. 2204 is the best one that I've had that I've been able to use. So like the newer ones, they don't work. So you don't want the newer Linux. So here's what you're going to come to. Now I'll link this in the description below. This is somebody created this Jizzits. I don't really know who this guy is, and I don't know how to say his name correctly. But this guy has created the ultimate fantastic way to do this. This is amazing, by the way. So shout out to him. He has his, like donate stuff here, his PayPal here. So feel free to, check this out. So this walkthrough, I'm going to walk through what I do when I set up a Vast machine. And I am no pro at this, guys. So if any of you guys in the Vast.ai Discord are watching this, you've probably seen me in there before asking questions. I am no pro. I just wanted to do this guide for newer people trying to get into this. I do not know exactly perfectly how to do things on Vast. I know how to set up the machines, and I know how to. I am more of like a computer guy than I am a Linux guy. So like I know BIOS settings. I know how to like get what makes a computer work. So here we go. So yes, so here's how you would start a machine. You would start a clean install of 2204. You would make sure you have the kernel. I've had a lot of problems not installing with kernel. Make sure you install with kernel. So what you'll need to do is you'll take a USB drive. Really quickly, I'll walk you through it. You'll take a USB drive. I use like Rufus, but there's plenty of other, USB programs you can use, or not USB programs, but the programs you can use to install to the USB. Download 2204, install, or use your USB. You know how to install it to a USB. It's pretty simple. If you can't figure that out, look it up. It's the same way with Windows and stuff. So get your USB. You're going to install 2204 with the kernel. You can add SSH. I would do this, for you guys, for us, for as a company, we don't. I usually don't do this, but I do add OpenSSH, but I usually don't SSH in because it's not something that I just want to do. I just go over to the site. It doesn't take me very long, and I access it from my computer on site. So anyway, add OpenSSH. You can just add that when you're doing the install. So the install will come real quick before we actually start the commands. So the install will show up. What you're going to actually do is it's going to be a little different from this install program. You're actually going to, so you're going to be like next, and then you're going to do your NVMe or SSD, which I would not probably use a normal SSD, but an NVMe drive, and then it'll say like XFS partition. You're going to make sure that that's a slash. Like it's going to tell you, this is a little more complicated, but you see, you create an extension 4 partition with a mount point of like a slash, and then you make sure it's 32 Gs. Now, when you do this, I don't think you use GB. I think you use G. Like you type in the amount and it's like 32 G. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's it's been a little bit since I've done it. And then yeah, and then that's pretty much it. You leave everything unpartitioned besides that, and then you can do this other stuff if you want to set up multiple drives or whatever, but I don't usually do that. So now let's say you have Vast installed, right? I know this is really like a long video, but there's a lot of things to touch on here. So then once you have Vast installed, or sorry, not Vast, Jesus, Linux. Once you have Linux installed 2204 with the kernel, then you're gonna just type. You're gonna start. I'm gonna start walking you guys through this. So you're gonna type sudo apt update, and then you can come here and copy and paste from like a local machine too, or SSH2 or whatever, however you guys want to do this. But I just want to walk you through it. So sudo apt update, sudo apt upgrade, and then dash y just means like you don't have to put dash y, but it just means like yes, I want to do it. Then you sudo apt dist upgrade, and then sudo apt install update manager. Um, you'll do this command here. And then if you did not install with HEWE kernel, you can do this other stuff. After you've done this, after you've done either the install update on the core, or if you needed to do this because you didn't install a kernel, you can do sudo, you want to reboot here. So you can do these, and then if you don't have the kernel, and then you reboot. So when we come back online again, we're going to do sudo apt. We're going to just follow here. We're going to do all these one at a time. Build essential, PPA, graphics driver, sudo apt update. And then, so now you're going to search for the recent NVIDIA drivers. So this will sort them. This whole command here will sort them. This is fantastic, by the way. Whoever made this is fantastic. Um, this works fantastic. And so now you'll see the latest one. So this is saying 560 is the latest, which I don't know if it is. I don't think it is, to be honest. But install the latest NVIDIA drivers, which is probably not going to be 560. Um, so now what we want to do is it's going to say remove unintended packages so that oh, this says driver. I think this meant to say driver. Anyway, this is just so like sometimes it will auto update. And actually, when I first created my first Vast.ai machine, I never did this, and that's exactly what happened. I got a client and it started updating, and the client left. So you don't want to lose a client. Um, so anyway, yeah, make sure you do each one of these commands one at a time. Now, one of these, if I'm not mistaken, is like gives a little error code. So what you need to actually do is you need to go sudo su, which is root, and then you do it again. Then you hit Control C, I think it is, to go back to normal sudo or normal, not administer root or whatever. So this one you don't need to do unless you start it with Ubuntu desktop, which if I haven't said this, I'm really sorry. Linux server, or sorry, Ubuntu server 2204. Do not do fucking desktop. If you already have desktop on there, it's really not worth your time to sit here and remove all this shit. Just do a fresh install. Especially if you're gonna do like multiple of these machines, you want to know how to install this. So this one is just if I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't touch this. This is not something I would touch. Um, yeah, if you want client data stored in the following, I wouldn't. I don't touch this. So the next thing I do touch is let me see here. Yeah, we don't want this. I don't do any of this here. Not sure exactly what this does. I think that's just for. I think this is just for the coming back to the. If you start with Ubuntu desktop. So I think that's what that's for. Um, this one I don't think we do either. This thing really likes to scroll fast, huh? Yeah, I don't think we do that one either. And then we do need to do sudo mount a. Now I haven't tried not doing sudo mount a. I just always have like done it that way. So I mean, you could to each their own, I guess. Then what we want to do is you want to check and see if the NVMe is, which is why you do this command, by the way. So I think it does work. Is mounted. So you do df and -h, and I think sometimes this requires root, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, it's been a little while. So this is a big one too, and this one actually is a pain in the ass because this one also requires root. And you need to make sure you're in sudo or this will not work. Now this is fantastic because this basically puts the idle or the GPUs completely idle and basically uses no power when they're idle. So if you guys don't know this, your Vast.ai machine needs to be on at all times. So this is something to keep in mind. So you definitely want to make sure this is on. Then we get to the part where we're almost done. So now we run Python 3, which is the install we need Python for this. And then we're gonna do, now this is where it gets a little complicated for like newbies. So we're gonna do this command here. Now it's gonna say your key. Now what you need to do is you need to delete that, okay? You need to delete your key, okay? And you need to put your key on Vast. It'll give you a key. And then you're going to input this command, okay? Once you input that command, let it install, let it do what it needs to do. And then you need to come down here. And so once you've done that, that means you're installing Vast, the Vast program, okay? If that Vast program comes back, now sometimes this takes a while. Don't restart the computer. Don't interrupt the installation. Sometimes this takes a long time. So then what you're going to do is 90% of the time, I think you get an NVML error. And you always want to make sure you run this first, because I think I did this one time and I fucked up. So always make sure you run this first, okay? And then if you get the NVML error, which I've gotten pretty much every time I've done it, then you're going to do this sudo python nvml fix. You're going to do all three of these. And then you're going to reboot. Once you reboot, you're going to run the command again. Now, I've had it take a while before. Like, I thought the computer was frozen, and I've had it taken like 20 minutes before. So just be patient. Don't think that the computer's frozen. Be very patient. Let it install. The last thing that I really do here, and there's a couple things you can do, but you gotta configure your ports. Okay. Now this could be a whole damn separate video. Easiest way to do this. Now for me, I have like Xfinity. We have a really simple app like at home. If I was running these machines at home, um, which I did actually. All you would do is you'd go in when the desktop's on. I go into my app. I hit port forwarding. Now this might be different for you. You may have to Google or YouTube your specific router or your specific internet and how to port forward. You might even have to contact your internet company to figure it out. But you would go to port forwarding and you need to port ports. It doesn't have to be these specific ports. So you want 100 ports per GPU. Now you can do, I always do a couple extra, just to be that guy. I always do, like, if I have 3 GPUs, I will do 303 ports. So you want to do this command here, and you want to input your own port range here. You can use 40,000. So you could do, like, let's say you had 3 GPUs. I would do 40,000 to 40,303. That would be me. That's what I would do. And then if you're going to have multiple machines, make sure you write that down somewhere, because you don't want to, you don't want to have the same machine with the same ports, because that won't work. So anyway, so you do this, and 100 ports per GPU, and then you do a sudo reboot. Once hopefully Vast installed correctly, and then you'll do this, and then you'll do a sudo reboot. And now you're pretty much set up. You should be on the home page. You should see your machines. Sorry, it's a little bit of a lot of and now you should see your machines on Vast, and you should be able to start setting rates. Now, one thing to remind you guys about Vast when you're setting up, like, how much money to rent them for, if you set the money too high, and I ran into this first time I did it because I figured I would just set it really high so nobody rented it. If you set it too high, it won't even show up. So just be very careful setting it. You have to set how many months and stuff like that. We could always go through another video. What's the best, like if you come here, let's say let's do a real quick thing. Let's say you have 30 series and you have a bunch of 3080s. I know a lot of people had 3080s and 3070s from back in Ethereum mining. You could see, like, we go to price increase, we go to unverified because you're going to be unverified. Oh, that's whoops. unverified machines. You're going to see the lowest ones are at 7 cents, 6 cents an hour. So the way to calculate this, now you want to make sure you have people paying for your internet. Are they going to throttle the fuck out of your internet sometimes? Um, and also your storage. You want to make sure you set a price for that. Now, like I said, we'll make another video or something about that. But anyway, make sure, to be honest with you guys, if you're doing a 1X 3080 machine like this, now always make sure if you have multiple card machine that in the Vast settings it's set to one card, because you don't 90% of the time if you have more than one card, a person's not gonna rent, like they're not gonna want to rent the whole machine sometimes. And that's just the sad reality of it. And so you want to make sure it's set to one card if you have multiple cards on a machine. If you have just one card, it's fine. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. So if you're unverified and you have slightly better specs in this, I would start out, whatever you can afford for power. Whatever is you can afford, I would set it at. But to be honest with you, if you want to get rented, you're gonna want to be around the same price if you had one 3080. Um, maybe you could stay at 7 cents, because it looks like these guys are from like Thailand and Spain, and usually people from the U.S. will stay with the U.S. people. Depending on certain things. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So make sure you have like decent specs. You can see this guy's running 4.0 16x. He's got a 12th gen. Is that an i5? i5 WD Black, 1 terabyte. I'm not even sure if that's. I think that's an SSD. I don't think that's an NVMe. I could be wrong though. Oh, that might be. Yeah. Um, Anyway, so yeah, you want to have like decent specs around these guys to be renting at this price. Or if you have way better specs, you can see if we scroll down some, we go to some of these guys that are verified. You can see here this guy's running well, that's two cards. Ryzen 950 900X, which is definitely, but he's only an 8X. Anyway, I don't want to take too much time with this. So yeah, set your prices. That's totally up to you guys. Remember that 30 series cards have really gone downhill because 40 series launched, and then 30 series are still doing good. Now 30 series are doing pretty bad when it comes to price range because 50 series launched. And as you can see right now, let's go to 50 series. I think it's absolutely insane right now. Um, Last I looked, like 5080s are going for 27 cents an hour, which is just pretty insane. Um, Pretty insane. This guy's got 45090s. Holy shit. Yeah, this guy's really, he's in Canada. They're all in 5.0 16x. It's impressive as hell. Must have them directly on the board. Anyway, so yeah, so that's basically like the setup, guys. I don't want to go into too much detail. I tried to keep this video as short as possible, but I wanted to explain everything. If you guys need more help, I definitely missed shit in this video, like, oh yeah, BIOS settings and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna make another video for. There's a lot of BIOS settings you need to know. There's a lot of issues with some RAM on Vast and people when they throttle the machine. There's a lot of things that I can explain in another video. So I wanted to give you guys this video, tell you how to set up Vast. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, in the description. I even have a Discord too. I could even help some of you guys. If you guys are looking to invest in these machines, please contact me. My company will host them. I will talk to my company and we will host them for you for a good price, and we will build the machine and take care of the machine and everything. So please, if you guys like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you guys want to see this content more, please comment below, please. I'd love to see your guys' thoughts, and if you need any help at all, I'm definitely around. I can help you. I'm not a pro, but I definitely know what I'm doing to an extent. So, okay, guys, I'll catch you later.